Yeah, we've been rolling.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
like this is maybe Patreon content.
Oh, cool.
Well, yeah,
but before we start the show, let me just say that makes me think. I feel like Corey should have a rock opera.
Oh,
yeah.
He'd
love to.
I've thought about one of my dreams, I don't know when it'll ever happen, is that I want to do the Book of Mormon, but for Southern Baptists.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, everybody like, oh, they do the Righteous Gemstones. It's different because that's about fucking, like, mega churches. I don't know that world. I want to do, like, from snake handling on up to just 200 seaters. I want to do the Book of Mormon for that. And so, yeah, one day, man, like, that is something but I don't have the resources or even know how to get into that fucking world. But I'm certain at one point, neither did Lynn know. He was just like a musical guy who, so like it can.
Got to write it.
Well, we do have a pretty big budget here at Airstream
Yeah,
Studios
we're getting
in
up there.
sunny Burbank, California.
That's
Hey,
right.
by the time this actually releases, that might not be an ironic statement. Who fucking knows?
Right.
We might. We're talking in the past right now.
Speaking
We
it
are. We're in the
into
past.
existence.
What's up, future people?
Hey.
Well, I guess for you it's the present, but you're seeing us in the past.
Y'all are
That's
the
pretty
future
cool.
to us.
That's right. Yeah, and the future hits in this case.
Hope so.
Often doesn't. Yeah,
No,
right.
it mostly doesn't. Neither does the past.
Past
and
don't hit, future don't hit,
Present
ain't
barely
hit.
hit.
Present
It's
ain't
almost
hit.
like it just like
Don't hit to be.
kind of don't hit to be.
Sure.
Yeah, we didn't ask for this.
But yeah, welcome back, Airheads. Hits to be here doing
Does
this.
here on the Airstream.
That's right. Another edition of Puttin On Airs. Listen here, I'm going to be talking for my subject. Fancy people and Southerners, as it were, overlaps with tea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we just bastardized the shit out of it for as far as they're concerned, and it hits.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think often we do that.
Sweet tea, that's what's up. Their
Yeah.
tea.
Cold tea.
Like fancier and stuff. I felt like there was a little bit, I feel like some British people might say this, be like, tea's not fancy, it's not necessarily posh.
Yeah.
Plenty of trash drink tea. We'll talk more about that when we get
Yeah.
into the actual segment. History of Professor Cho is on what?
The Notre-Dame Cathedral. So not Notre Dame, the football team, because I would never.
No, they don't hit.
No, they don't hit. But
One that burn all up.
the one that burn all up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where that old wild ass hunchback lived.
I believe
That's
so.
right.
Yeah. Ostensibly, yes, I
That
believe.
old troglodyte.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's Victor Hugo made that up at least. But yeah.
He
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah. For sure. So
Yeah,
we're gonna-
but the guy, the Quasimodo
Quasimodo.
over there.
Yeah.
Quasimodo over there at Notre Dame.
That's how my uncle talks about Priuses. That's a Quasimodo. You know what I mean?
Your uncle says quasi?
Quasi. That's a Quasimodo. If he does, it'd be in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good. They're hitting. Yeah. Quasimodo.
That's
Yeah.
all, but they didn't really keep hunchbacks in that church, did they? Maybe.
I don't think like as a
Where
rule.
else were they gonna put 'em?
But right, I think it's one. If you were a hunchback,
If you got a bunch of
right,
hunchbacks around, you got to put them somewhere. I feel like the church is probably the best. That's the most logical
they're not going to
place.
get. Yeah, they're
They ain't
not
going to put them in a bank.
No.
What?
You're right. You put them in a bank. No,
That
I'm
ain't
certain.
nothing.
I'm
I
certain
have
that
no
a-
problem with hunchbacks.
Of course not. I'm certain
I'm
that
pro hunchback.
if a hunchback was good
we're very
at
pro
math, they
hunchback.
could be at a bank. I
They
guess
could be, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about back in this
you
time.
just put them places.
Much like I said, we're not cancelable because I'm French.
Yeah.
We're also not cancelable because I am also a hunchback.
Russ
So
is
that's true.
Russ
You are
is
a hunchback.
French-
You are
a
French,
French
though?
hunchback.
I thought you were just bullshitting.
Both of those things are true.
You're a French hunchback.
Yes.
Quasimodo
Quasimodo
over
right
there.
here,
Quasimodo
yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Producer Quasimodo.
Yeah. All right. I
But
love
no,
it.
I'm just saying, like,
That's gonna be a fucking t-shirt.
Merch.
Is you as the fucking Quasimodo.
Yeah. With,
That's what's
with
up.
wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Quasimodo.
I'm not saying that hunchbacks can't be bankers. You
Right.
know, it's 2022. Your hunchbacks can
Do
do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I just mean back then in that time.
Yeah, you put them in a tower.
They put them in towers
For sure.
They didn't put them in places to hit
No.
because they were like
They didn't hit.
couldn't be sullied by their presence because
Right.
that's how they were with stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
Like
hunchbacks and lepers and other types of
yeah, like Rome, they just kick them off a
Unfortunates.
cliff and shit like that.
Mhm,
Yeah.
the Spartans.
Yeah.
I don't know how fancy Spartans were, but they were super, super wild. They might be a thing we can talk
I
about in the
definitely-
future,
well-
maybe,
well,
because they were fucking insane.
Well, the way I look at it is ancient Rome 100% counts for this show because they had a bunch
Yes.
of fancy stuff going on, and those
Spartacus.
are ancillary to that. So like
Yeah.
they're going to get brought the
We'll
fuck up
see.
for sure.
Speaking of
we're
ancient
going to be
Rome-
pretty fast and loose on this show about what we cover.
For
I'm
sure.
certain that people are like that. Like you said with tea, it's like I ain't fancy, but like we're talking
we'll,
about it.
We'll make a case.
Here's
We'll cover that.
here's my pitch. Because we're from the American South, anything almost from other countries is just by definition to us fancy and putting on airs to even talk about, which is the contention of this show.
Especially British.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
You guys are obsessed with Britain.
Yeah, we're
specifically.
Anglophiles.
I'm with it. Yeah, for sure. I do want to make sure that we make, which we're already talking about doing it, we make allowances for things that are fancy that are not British. You've been talking about
For
French
sure.
shit, that hits,
Yeah, for
ancient
sure.
Rome. I don't want it to be just Britain, but yeah.
No, they just gonna come up a lot.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of ancient Rome, on a recent episode, somehow Marcus Crassus got brought up. Oh, we're talking about Mansa Musa, who's maybe the richest man ever lived. And then Marcus Crassus got brought up. And I said it had something to do with fire. I said he burnt people's houses down, I thought, and then bought them for cheap. It's actually wilder and even more raven than that. First of all, he was born rich. His family lost some of their stuff. It got taken from them because of like losses they took in battles and
Business,
politics and
yeah,
stuff
right.
like that. But then they just took other people's stuff. It's like,
As you do.
he was the son of a rich kid. He had like means to begin with, but then he took it and went above and beyond with it, type of thing. I think we even
Like
said
Elon Musk.
that's actually how he came
Yeah,
up on the
right.
previous episode.
Yeah,
I
it
was like,
was.
no, he was more like Elon Musk, right?
Right.
But so the fire thing is actually more raven and funny than I remembered, which is that he actually invented
Fire?
the fire departments, fire brigades.
Oh, word?
But listen though, so you hear that,
why he
that,
did it. You're like, that's great.
you hear that, and you're like, oh, that's really
Civil
cool.
servant.
That's something we really needed.
Yeah.
He did invent the very first fire brigades.
Can
The
I guess
way
why?
they worked was, go ahead.
Okay, just based on all the information I have, here's his thought process. He's like, when I go on these hit parades, I tend to burn a lot of shit down, and I should probably have a group of people with me that are equipped to put out said fires.
No.
Was that a bad guess?
Mansa Musa was the one on the hit parades.
Oh, right.
But-
My bad.
So basically, ancient Rome was just ate up with fire, just lousy with fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything was burning all the time. It's sort of like Russia and buses. They just explode and stuff just
Yeah.
burns. Ancient Rome stuff just stayed burning.
Burning
up.
all the time.
So
You were either on fire or getting your butt fucked in a vomitorium back in ancient Rome.
or getting ate by a lion,
Right, yeah. One of three things.
or killing a lion in
Right.
front of a crowd.
Right.
But so he invented the fire brigade. But the way it will actually go down was your shit starts burning. Marcus Crassus's fire brigade rolls up. Don't worry, fire brigade's here. Here's the deal though. Before we put that fire out, you're gonna need to sell me that house
Oh.
for not much money at all.
Right.
And if you don't, it's just gonna burn, and then you're just gonna have a burnt down house, and I'll pay you even less money for it. So you
Dude.
can give me X amount right now, which is way less than it's worth, but more than what it will be worth once it fully burns down.
Right.
And if you don't do that, we're going to bounce. And, people would do it. And that's how you got a bunch of property and shit. And that's how fire departments became a thing.
Which
Everything
now
in
they
history,
couldn't be the more
I know,
opposite.
but it's like everything in history. The
Comes from
origins of
horrible
everything
origins, yeah.
is terrifying.
Right.
Or upsetting. It's it's horrific.
It's funny
always.
because I almost brought this up on the last episode, and clearly it wasn't from this because you didn't talk about this, but how the playbook for how corporations run stuff was written back in these days, and they do it in a less barbaric way now, but the actual points that they have to go across are still fundamentally the same, because that is kind of how Walmart operates with like small businesses in the supply chain world. Like, I don't know if you know that, but the reason, for those that don't know, that why things are, there's two reasons things are cheaper at Walmart than they are anywhere. The number one reason is because, like, why are I'll go get my tires at Walmart because they're so much cheaper. The reason they're so much cheaper is because they can knock the price of tires down because they know you're also going to leave the store with a bunch of marked up coolers and fucking shit. So they're going to like make it back in that way, which ends up fucking like actual mom and pop tire people out here like, we can't do that because we have to sell them at this price. But another thing that Walmart does that's kind of like what you're talking about is they will like get a small mom and pop place that starts making some new product, and they're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. We would love to sell that in our store. And the people are like, fuck yes, that'd be awesome. We would love to sell our shit in Walmart. Walmart puts in an insane order, like 100,000 units of whatever the fuck, and tells them, yeah, we'll give you this. They make those 100,000 units of shit. Then Walmart goes back to him and goes, yeah, we're going to give you this much money. And they're like, wait, what? You said you were going to give us that much money. And they're like, yeah, we're not. And so you're going to take this money. And if you don't take that money, you have just hired all those people to make this, and you're going to take a complete loss because you're not going to be able to sell them motherfuckers yourself. So take it or leave it. So it's kind of the same thing where these people just show up and they just have all this capital and they just bully you into doing a thing, and you've got to do it because it's either that or this shit's just going to burn completely fucking down and I get nothing. So
yeah, pretty fucked up. Marcus Crassus is also the one that ended the Spartacus slave revolt. So that really hit for the rest of ancient Rome. But you know, like Spartacus, one of the best like underdogs of all time.
He got
Marcus
the
Crassus,
slaves to quit revolting.
well, he fucking killed them till they stopped.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
That's how that goes.
Yeah, right.
You gotta, he put them up on a bunch of crosses and then they quit acting up. That's sort of how it worked.
That'll do it.
And he was a big like patron of Julius Caesar and helped him get started hitting and stuff.
Yeah, a patron in the sense of
he was like a supporter of Julius Caesar.
like how we said
he was
Casanova
like
had
allied with Julius Caesar, and I don't know if it was like Casanova. I'm just saying he's one of the people that helped Julius Caesar become Julius Caesar.
Yeah, they're just like, here's a hit stop and do your thing. I trust in you. Kind of like how like
there's
the
a
Koch
couple
brothers. Is it like the Koch brothers nowadays?
I guess. Yeah,
couple of interesting
I know what you mean.
facts here, maybe.
Of the survivors, why did
Just
Crassus?
the questions, why did Crassus have 6,000 slaves?
Of the survivors, some 6,000 were crucified. Jesus, that's a lot of crosses. Along the Appian way, Trae, will you please read this?
Yeah. Plutarch's account of the revolt suggests the slaves simply wished to escape to freedom and leave Roman territory by way of Cisalpine Gaul. I mean, it's funny. It's like some people contend that the slaves just simply wanted to not be slaves anymore.
Yeah.
Although this is debated. Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure they just didn't want to be slaves anymore. Yeah, but no, I watched the nearly soft porn Spartacus Stars show and loved it. One of my favorite TV shows.
I haven't finished it, but I'm liking it so far.
And it gets into all that because it's a story of Spartacus. Crassus is on there and he's wild motherfucker.
That's so true. Anytime there's a slave revolt, there's really no reason for you to go, why did the slaves revolt?
I feel like we don't really need to look. I mean, the specific circumstances are
different, but it's like I bet I know why they revolted.
Because being a slave don't hit.
No, it don't hit.
And they preferred to no longer do that.
And the only way to possibly change that was to revolt. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we had an idea. Well, first of all, brief story. Recent episode, I was talking about horses. Corey said a thing. I'm not going to say what he said, even though you saw it, because it will be funnier when you see this.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Do you have that, or do I need to send it to you right now,
What?
Russ? The text from Katie.
Oh, I have it.
No, he
You
has
have
it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my wife sent me a
Right
text message that said, we're using her Mac, her computer. So she on her cell phone she can see the search history from the Mac because it's on her same profile. And she looked at the search history, was about to search something else, and saw where it says, do horses turn green and die? And with just no context, she was like, why are you looking up? And I was like, because Corey said horses turn green and die.
Right. Obviously.
We needed to fact check that.
Obviously.
Turns out they don't.
It's because obviously, like I said, we're in the past and everybody else is in the future. So some people know that you actually tweeted this, and I loved reading the comments because
you did?
He tweeted this just like, "Hey, me and Corey are working on a thing, and this happened." And there was like 50 or so when I read it comments, and most all of them were like, "Well, do they?"
Yeah. Oh, that's a great tease. That's a great tease. Also, tell your wife to charge her phone.
No, dude,
no shit.
Other people said
that sends people into a panic.
Other people like commented, they didn't understand somehow, even though I said, this is a text from my wife. There were other people who were like, I didn't realize you were a battery abuser or whatever. Like, I hate that.
I can't stand
I'm one of those people that is driven crazy by that.
Too. My shit's charged.
And I constantly get on her ass about being one of those
Amber
people,
does
but
it.
she is one of those people.
Amber will sit. She will fucking lay.
You should call her and ask her.
Yeah, I was. Yes, I was
Listen,
gonna say.
listen. There is a thing where if you're purposely letting your laptop or phone die, like each of those bars is actually a different cell in the battery. So if you only use the 5th cell, let's say, you're actually overusing that cell.
Right.
So there is an argument, I believe in, you can fact check me, I'm not going to Google it, but you want to actually get it down to those lower cells and kind of use those too. So it evens out the use of the battery. So just, that's the only reason. Other than that, I don't suspect.
Well, that ain't why she does it.
Hey, Amber.
What's up?
Not much. What are you doing? You're on. By the way, you're on Puttin On Airs, the show.
Oh, okay.
So we were just number one. We were just talking shit about you because you will lay on the couch next to a phone charger.
Hold it closer.
You will lay on a couch next to a phone charger for hours, but not have your goddamn phone on it and just lay there on 10%. Would you like to comment on that?
It's currently on 22%. So
Right. And are you next to a charger?
Yeah, I've been laying on the couch.
Yeah. Like, and by the way, the charger cords are fucking 50 feet long.
No, Katie does the exact same thing. Why you do that?
I don't know. It's a problem.
All right. Hey, Amber, you know who Marcus Crassus is?
No idea.
All right. He was an old rich Roman fucker. Burned people's house down.
People.
She don't know names of people, she says.
I thought you said ancient people.
She don't know that
Don't
either.
know ancient people either?
Yeah. Well, tell her, learn her.
Well, I don't want to just say all the same things I said already on here.
Well, that's true.
He was a rich old Roman motherfucker, used to burn people's houses down in order to buy them from him, fucked them over. He was the Walmart of his day, Corey decided.
What do you think about this show, Amber, Puttin On Airs? This is your first time you're making an appearance on here.
Well,
First guest.
I think y'all are having a really good time. So
Yeah.
What do you think?
Good.
What do you think about Corey being a professor on here and teaching people about stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he was born for it, so
Born to
he
teach
does
people?
know, he does know everything.
Well, yeah.
Pretty good. He's got that job then.
All right. Well, that's sweet.
I kind of thought she would shit on me more. Are you hungover?
I'm literally making macaroni and cheese, and I'm trying to put the cheese on the noodles right now.
Oh, okay. My bad. What
so
kind of
shut
cheese?
the fuck up.
Wait,
Corey.
hold on just a second.
That
Hold on
was
a second.
Corey, not you.
Hold on just a second. By put the cheese on the noodles, do you mean open the pack of cheese dust?
I was going to say.
Oh,
Not cheese dust.
cheese
It's
sauce.
cheese. It's real cheese.
Oh,
Liquid gold.
she's a shells.
Oh,
Yeah,
liquid
she's a shells and
gold?
cheese.
Is that
gotta
Velveeta?
be, dude.
Yeah.
Hell
The
yeah.
I'm
Velveeta
a
and
blue
shells?
box. I'm a blue box.
Really?
I like both.
You like?
I like both.
But you
The
prefer the
deluxe?
blue box to the
Yeah.
Velveeta?
For sure.
Not me,
The
dog.
deluxe
Hell no.
package.
Shells and cheese with some rotel.
That cheese
Ooh.
sauce is
I agree.
what's
I agree.
up.
It's great, but I
What
grew up on blue box.
Nobody knows.
Nobody even knows.
knows what
Who
it is.
cares?
Got hair on in it.
It does have hair on in it. Well, okay, babe. We'll get your. I'm sorry that we fucked up your macaroni and cheese making experience.
You're ruining my day.
Okay, well, I love you.
Love you.
Hey, tell everybody that they should like, subscribe, and download our podcast so that you can get more purses or something.
Oh, okay. Like, subscribe, and download.
Thanks.
Love you.
Love you. We've got to like, I need to know when she's drunk in order to call her. Because if she's just frustrated.
Well, I feel like generally speaking,
Well,
pretty
she would
good
be,
odds.
that
Pretty
she'd be
good
drunk,
odds.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, gotta say, for an unplanned first time calling her, that's pretty funny.
But like if she was drunk, I would have just got laid into, but she was occupied making macaroni.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was
she-
surprised she didn't go in on you more.
But and the only reason
Because me and
that she-
her, that's pretty much all we ever
I
talk
know.
about is going in on you and the hoods.
That's how much shells and cheese means to her, is because she's like, I can't be doing two things at once. I can't shit on him and make shells and cheese, and one takes precedence.
Can I say I'm actually surprised that she wasn't making real mac and cheese with like cheese and no, really, because like I thought in the South, I thought they would just maybe put you in jail
Well,
if you were
first
doing
off,
like a
you have to
box.
I mean, we
understand that
fucks with real macaroni and cheese,
yeah.
but
I would do that.
But
You
I
have
thought
to
it was
understand-
exclusively.
My wife,
No.
my wife, while being from the South, was not raised by Southerners because her parents are
dude,
both from
also
Iowa.
on that note, plenty of Southern trash.
Still make
fuck
box.
with
I mean, I grew up on
Velveeta, shells and cheese,
and I grew
buddy.
up on Blue Box
Yeah.
because
running
like,
the trailer park.
yeah,
dog.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
But like, yeah, if we
What
were
about
having
Kraft?
if we were having people
Kraft.
over, or like it was Thanksgiving, you would make the mac
Right.
and cheese. But
Right,
like
right.
she's
Yes.
hungover.
True.
Sure.
So I just found out, and I was moderately surprised. And we're saying versions of the same thing. Kraft does also hit for me. I just prefer the sauce packet version
to the dust.
And shells and cheese hits for me. And
but you prefer the dust.
Yes,
the dust.
yes. And also, honestly, I eat more of the shells and cheese because Amber goes to the store and does all that. And again, it fucking smashes for me. I love it. My only thing is, I grew up, that's the kind my grandmother made. So, like, it's just my preferred. I can even admit that shells and cheese is probably, like, better. It's creamier or whatever.
A lot of people, an entire nation of people would disagree with that. I'm sure. You know that's huge in Canada.
They call naked ladies.
They call it craft dinner. Craft dinner is what they call it, and it's like a
we
fucking
wouldn't have
national.
to eat craft dinner, but we would eat craft dinner. Of course, we'd only eat more of it if I had $1 million.
Yeah, it's a national
with ketchup.
I know. I ain't with that. You know how I'm about ketchup. I
like ketchup on eggs.
Yeah, that's fine.
But no, I'm not ruining my fucking mac and cheese with ketchup. But like, I like. Now, granted, here's the thing:
we're at on fancy ketchup.
Oh, love it. Are you
sure,
kidding me?
Yeah.
Catsup.
You prefer it to no, not catsup. Fancy ketchup.
Okay, so
that's a type of ketchup.
It is.
That the USDA outlines regulations for.
What is the?
Don't you be calling that regular ass ketchup fancy ketchup?
What does it have to be in order to be fancy ketchup?
It's something to do with the percentage of actual
tomatoes
that are in it versus
sugar and vinegar. Yeah, right.
Yes. And it's got to be high. The higher percentage, that's what fancy ketchup is.
Here's where I am with like fancy ketchups. My mom actually the other day hollered at me and she's like, "Hey, come over to the house." I went to a store and they had truffle ketchup and I got 2 bottles because it was on sale. I wanted to give you one. I was like, okay. And so I went and got it. And like I had some fries and I put the truffle ketchup on there. And I was like, I had like 3 or 4 bites. And I was like, oh yeah, this is really, really good. But then after a while, I was just like, I just prefer Hunt's trash ketchup. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be fancied up. Like if I'm gonna get a fancy sauce, I'm like, let's make a remoulade. Let's fucking, do all this thing. But like usually I just want the good vinegary, regular McDonald's fries ketchup, situation gimmick. That's me. But
they're doing all kinds of shit with ketchup.
And
now.
I wanted to say
mayonnaise
this
too.
I wanted to say this.
I'm not really with any of it, honestly.
Because I'm from the South, Russ is right. Like, I love a good homemade mac and cheese. But when I do Blue Box, I don't just go by.
Of course.
And you don't either.
No, hell no.
And people need to understand, when I make it.
Make that shit with cream, dogs.
Thank you. Because it calls for water, and I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean? I mean, you boil the noodles.
You boil the noodles in water.
You boil the noodles in water.
No, it calls for Easy Mac, but it's milk.
It's
the
milk.
Blue Box is milk.
But not that. Cream.
Yes, cream.
100% cream. Every now and then, if I do have a little truffle oil, I might put a dash in there, like just a dash, because truffle overpowers everything too much. But if you do just put a dash in there, it gives it that earthy feel. Also, I will often fry up a whole pan of bacon and then like cut that shit up and throw that in there. And then what Amber does with the shells and cheese, which in my opinion makes it gourmet, she dumps a whole can of Rotel in that shit. And then it's a party. So like Blue Box is just like, I'm lazy, I don't want to do the whole thing, but I'm still gonna like kind of fucking fancy everything I do up. You can take Campbell's cream of chicken soup and make it taste fucking amazing as long as you just do your own. Yeah, doctor it up. For sure. So that's where we're at.
Oh, Lord, Russ.
Look at this one in like an iron skillet.
Hey, by the way, we could do an episode on mac and cheese one day because did you know this? It comes that seems like an American variation of pasta. That shit right there comes from France. Yeah. And the reason that we have it is because Thomas Jefferson went over to France for some sort of like summit back in the day, had that shit and was like, this is bomb. And then he taught his slave how to make, he didn't teach his slave how to make it, but he was like, hey, slave, see that? That's what's up. His slave started making it, and that's why black people make bomb-ass mac and cheese, because it was brought over here from France.
Hey, what? Fuck the Declaration of Independence. That's his real
that's
hit
his
right there.
Absolutely.
That's his real legacy, bringing fucking mac and cheese.
But yeah, so it's not actually trash.
Baby.
Like, that's France shit. Which,
all right.
Yeah. Guys, spring is here, and it's time to get sprung. Hell, it's almost summer, by the way, which means you're going to be in your bathing suit, and it's going to be time to get it on, and that is where our friends at Blue Chew come in. Blue Chew is something that I can never go without. It's going to help you get a new dick. Tell them about it, Trae.
Who don't want a new dick?
We all do.
What I mean, but we all need a new dick. Yeah, Blue Chew is a unique online service that gives you the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead to get down, or you can just get down when getting down comes up. You know what I mean? Process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and when you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. That's the best part about it. It's all done down there on the internet there. You ain't got to go to the doctor's office. You ain't got to have any awkward conversations. You ain't got to wait in line at the pharmacy. They send you new dick straight to your door. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the U.S. of A, prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package, and we do mean package.
You got that on-demand dick with Blue Chew, Daddy, and you know I've been using this for a long time. I would continue to use it even if they didn't sponsor us, I promise you that, because if I was to ever stop, Mrs. Cho, Mrs. Dream, skew, my wife Amber would be like, no, Daddy, you ain't bringing that old dick round here no mo. That ain't the deal. I like that new dick. That's what I'm accustomed to, and that's what I get with Blue Chew. So, Trae, I believe that our listeners have a special deal they can get.
Yeah, if you're trying to get you a new dick, which you aren't, we've got a special deal for our listeners. You can try Blue Chew for free. I said free, F-R-E-E, free, by God. When you use the promo code POA at checkout, all you do is pay $5 shipping. $5 for a brand new dick, Cho. You can't beat that.
You can't afford not to get a new dick.
That's right. That's BlueChew.com, promo code POA, to receive your first month for free with only $5 shipping. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Skew!
Psst. Who's going to take care of your family if something happens to you? What would they do without your income? If you don't have a plan, you need to go to GoliathLife.com. Get a quick quote for more than 20 carriers. You don't even have to leave the house. If you need a medical exam, they'll send somebody to your house or office. You're in total control. You pick the rates, you pick the payments, you pick the terms. You're in total control, but it gives you and your family peace of mind. What if something happens to your income? Hurry to GoliathLife.com.
Okay, so while we're on the subject of culinary affairs, tea, let's talk about it. You suggested tea, and at first I was like, I don't know. I feel like in the places where, like, as far as the fancy people part of it, because we'll get to sweet tea later, but the fancy people part of tea, it's like, I feel like in England, like, dude, they just literally all drink
it's like
tea.
how we drink coffee.
But then you were like, yeah, but think about the tea sets, and like, they are fancy, and also, you know, hell, look at these cups.
Well, also,
you know, that's fancy. You're supposed to put your pinky up when you drink it. That's fancy. So obviously, there's a lot of fancy aspects to tea. It's just also, and everybody can drink it.
Well, I mean, also, coffee is a cup of Joe is the everyman drink, but at the same time, don't act like there's not a culture in this society of like, Starbucks is the most like cliche one where it's like, God damn, $7 for a cup of coffee or whatever. So like there are still hierarchies within it. And some people that are coffee people, they're not the average Joe type human being.
That's 100% true. So I looked it up, like, how fancy is it, right? And turns out it's kind of run the gamut. Mm-hmm. So when they first brought it over from China back in whenever it was, 1700s, I think.
Pretty much everything they got was brought from
somewhere else. Well, that's why they conquered everywhere else.
This stuff hits. We're
going to take it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that was their whole deal.
Yeah.
So when they first brought it back from China, it was rare and new, and so it was expensive,
right,
and exclusive, and all this. And so initially, it was high society shit from the jump, right? Poor people wasn't allowed to have tea, but it hit real hard for them, and they brought more and more of it. Next thing you know, it becomes more ubiquitous, and it's more readily available, so it's cheaper. So peasants could now drink tea,
right?
And they did, and it hit for them. And for a little while there, because peasants were now drinking tea actually kind of didn't hit because they were like, because peasants were like, oh dear. Well, you know, they can't
be seen drinking the swill that the commoner.
Swill of the the common man. You know, they got all weird about it, grossed out about it, because as we say all the time, if poor people can do a thing, they don't want to do that thing.
Right.
But you just can't keep some of them down.
Right.
Tea hit too hard.
Yeah.
So it kind
eventually
they were like, we're just going to have to demean ourselves, and
Right.
because we can't go without it.
Yeah.
And tea,
That's probably where this shit type comes from. We'll have to make it, at least we'll have fancy cups.
I think it came out the gate because fancy people, this is just like what they got around the house.
Right, exactly.
So tea comes out, they're like, well, this will hit for tea.
Right.
That's probably not true at all, but I'm just saying.
I don't know. What else would it be?
Yeah, I don't know. And so now it is kind of, it definitely runs the gamut. They do a whole deal over there, Rosa, at high tea versus afternoon
High
tea.
tea's at like 1, right?
So, first of all, high tea, well, I mean, honestly, I didn't know. I really didn't know. I've heard that.
High
I've
tea,
heard
yeah.
those words,
Yeah.
but I never knew what any of it meant.
That's a nice spread.
Yeah, it is a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
spread. Well,
That
that's the thing
lobster?
about it. With high tea and afternoon tea, a spread is involved. High tea is not a fancy tea, as many people assume. I mean, I guess it could be, but high tea is
Booze?
no, it actually has to do with the food. So when you think like
Oh, it's the sandwiches.
when you think like scones and little sandwiches
Is it
and
called
cakes
scones?
and stuff,
Is that the...
that's how they pronounce it.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah. I wasn't making fun of you. Yeah.
I am
Scones.
super pretentious, right?
Yeah.
Scones.
I don't even think we have them, do we?
Scones.
Well,
Scone? No,
what they call
scones.
scones
Yeah.
are biscuits.
Right. Yeah. But
I
they're,
just call them biscuits.
they're even-
Well,
but
we don't
they're-
have our own word for
they're
it.
Yeah, we have
scones, though.
scones.
Like
they're
at
not
Starbucks.
biscuits.
they're fundamentally.
But what are they?
They're
I don't know.
fundamentally
I
a
thought they
biscuit,
were-
but a scone is like it's still more dry. Like our biscuits, we like.
Oh, dude, our biscuits hit fucking harder.
I know, but I'm saying we pride ourselves on like they're moist, they're fluffy or whatever. Over there, if they're like, this isn't a scone. A scone is supposed to be like you should be able to throw it at a slave and kill him. You know what I
I've
mean?
never
Like
had.
that's
I've never had a scone, but I've had scones.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, we're not talking about the same thing, though.
Okay.
Right?
That's what I'm. That's
Right?
blowing my mind.
I don't know.
What? He just said you can go somewhere in America and get a scone, right?
Yeah, right. And
it's
that's
not going to be a scone.
Oh,
I have
okay.
no
okay.
idea
my bad.
what a
no,
scone
I
is.
It was a
don't know. I'm
pronunciation thing.
asking. Oh, my God.
Oh, you're asking.
I don't know what's
scone is-
happening right now.
A scone.
I don't go to coffee places and get fucking pastries and
Yeah.
shit. I get donuts every now and then.
Yeah.
If you order a scone, what are they going to give you?
a usually like kind of triangular shaped.
Right.
It's like kind of like a biscuit, but it's drier and it's more crunchy, but it's not a cookie.
See, okay.
Check it out. Check it out.
So that's a scone. Right. Pronounce this as almost entirely different than the rest of the country. 75% and 9% in Derbyshire pronounce scone as scone. Compared
Okay.
with between 60 and 70% people from Southampton who pronounce it as scone.
Are
So
those the trash
Southampton is
people?
trash.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That makes sense.
I thought that
If you're in a shire,
Yeah, you're trash.
No, you're good.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know. I don't
Wait,
know.
shires.
Well, but a
seem like-
Hampton is pretty good, right? In America,
I think they got plenty of
Hamptons-
shires. First
Yeah.
of all, their shire it's pronounced,
Well, would you say Derbyshire or Derbyshire?
I bet it's
I would
I
say
bet it's Derbyshire.
I bet it's
Derbyshire.
Derbyshire, but I would definitely be like
Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Of course I would.
Yeah.
I'm basing all this entirely.
Derbyshire. That's where the horses live.
I'm basing this and the hobbits,
Yeah.
hobbits and horses,
Yeah.
Derbyshire. I'm basing all this entirely off of my number one program, The Great British Baking Show.
Right.
And
You're right.
Paul Hollywood he's from Liverpool.
hits for you?
Yeah, I love him.
I like that guy.
He's from
Yeah.
Liverpool. I don't think he's like posh. The old women's he's had, I shouldn't say I don't mean a disrespect to the great Mary Berry or Prue Leith.
She's still with us, right?
They're posh. She is. She's
Yeah,
doing
she's
other
great.
shit. They are posh. He, I don't think is.
But he's posh compared that we think of him as posh.
Everybody on that show says scone, and when they say scone, it's a fucking little biscuit looking
Right.
thing. So I thought, and in America we have scones, which I thought were different.
Okay. I mean, they
So-
might.
Shoo!
The
Here's the
thing
thing.
is
Here's
that
the-
we do bastardize everything that they do.
Well, no. See, even though I'm from a more Southampton type of place,
right.
I still side with the people in Derbyshire.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever they say is what it's called.
I mean,
'Cause
no,
it's
I
like,
agree. If it's scone, it's scone, and I'm assuming that like we always make things.
I just
like,
thought they were two separate things.
They
is
might-
what I'm
I just
saying.
I
Yeah.
never heard of a scone. That's the only reason I.
I
I
said
don't
haven't
it.
watch
either.
the Great
And
British
it's a
Baking
thing.
Show.
I've
That's
watched
why.
it a couple times, but every time I was like, yeah, that's just. I wouldn't even cross my mind. I was like, I guess that's how you say it, but they're not different things.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if we're talking about like a fucking British tea, afternoon tea, I think we're talking about scones.
Right. And I
Based
just
on the
always
Great
thought that's
British,
how
so
they
that's
say
why-
scones.
Right. Wait,
No.
it is.
Right.
But it's like how we don't say biscuit differently than them other
Right.
than that biscuit
Right.
And we
But
say
it means
biscuit.
but it means a different thing.
in the different countries.
Yeah.
So we
yeah.
both say scone differently,
Right.
and also
They're
it's
two
a
different-
different thing.
Right.
If you right.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I'm with.
So-
I wasn't disputing any of that. I just had never. This is the first time any of that thought has even come into my
It's just
mind.
like, okay, Russ, do you know the little, yeah, that's my motherfuckers right there. Love them. Seen every episode 3 times, all seasons. Hits
Whatever
for me.
the guy in the back with that smiley cardigan,
comic.
whatever he calls them is what I go with.
right.
Which guy are you talking about?
The guy with the long hair, yeah.
That's old Greg. You ever see that? Remember
Yeah.
that sketch, Old Greg?
I'm old Greg.
No.
that's
he's,
him.
He's from a bunch of hitting British sketch shit over the
Nah,
years.
I'm not
Noel
a big-
Fielding.
yeah.
British guy.
I
You
mean,
don't know old Greg?
I don't know all the BritBox stuff and all that stuff. Like,
That's my wife's favorite fucking shit. Any goddamn time someone is named Greg and we're watching the thing, they're like, "Hey, I'm Greg." Amber will go, "I'm old Greg."
So Corey has slimmed up and looks great. Obviously, when this
God fucking
when this
damn
dude
it.
when this
Amen.
dude on the
amen.
right,
He's a sex symbol now.
yeah. The dude on the right in the back, he's a comedy guy too over there, and he's a comedic actor, been in a lot of stuff. His name's Matt Lucas. But when he first got on this show, and I was watching it on pills because I just had eyeball surgery, so I was watching the show on pills, and I texted Corey, and he was new to the show, and I was like, "Dude, this new host on here is kind of like the Tim Burton version of you."
God damn it.
It's like-
Just alopecia it out.
Yeah, just the quirky, wild version. Literally, just because he's bald and round and stuff. This is when you was markedly rounder.
Come on.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still pretty
Corey,
goddamn right. There's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of people.
the you that looks like that, dude.
There, no,
I don't know that
but I
you.
have looked like that before. There's a lot of people watching this right now who maybe aren't familiar with how I used to look. They're going, this guy's considered skinny now.
He also has this whole running thing on there where he acts like
Katie a picture if you
of this.
if you can quickly find a picture
Yeah.
of your old self. Airdrop Katie's
Okay,
computer.
I will definitely fucking come up with it.
He also has this thing where he always talks like he's like a kid and stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they're
no, I
always
get
they're
it.
always putting him in like big cupcakes with his bald head poking out the top of it and stuff. And it's like,
This is actually
similar to the way we used to
Trae-
talk about you
Trae-
and use you.
Airdrop, because I know you've got it, because you've got it on your phone in your favorites. Airdrop him the goddamn rib picture.
Yeah,
Just
but the
go
rid
ahead.
picture's so old boy looking.
It
You're
doesn't
not
matter.
going to look like
Okay,
that guy.
then just
I already said I was on pills. He's bald and round and was acting like a kid and was standing in a big cupcake.
yeah.
If people who know anything about you don't understand where I'm getting,
I'm literally
where I'm drawing the
giving you
parallels
permission
from,
right now.
then I don't know. Yeah,
I'm-
the rib pick you big and fat in, but it ain't gonna make this case.
Well, I'm about
for
to
me.
airdrop this. How do I do it? Share, airdrop.
Katie's.
What the fuck is going on? I don't know shit about these goddamn.
This sucks. I think this phone. I can't find.
Oh, here we
it.
go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Boom.
What, the rib pick?
No, it's a different one. It's one that I think it's waiting. I think.
Sorry. Every time I see the rib pick. All right, I got one coming to you too.
I did. It says it's waiting.
You've got to accept.
Yeah, there
it.
you go. Accept.
It's a little laggy.
Yeah, it's fine. You're gonna have to fix this shit in post.
Nah, it's all right.
No, it's fine. Yeah, this is the first. This is the only time I'll ever give permission to.
Also, please, again, the Tim Burton version.
I agree
of
with
you.
you. I agree with you that it's that. Oh my god, look at that,
Oh my God.
He's
Look-
about the size
Oh,
of that
dude.
guy.
bro. Honest to God, I haven't looked at that in a while. I really was fucking fat as shit.
I
son.
mean, you're like, you're not like 600-pound life level.
No,
no,
But
no.
dude, imagine him.
You're a fat guy.
Imagine
You're a
him
funny fat
slick,
guy.
I'm a
Imagine
fat
him
guy.
slick,
Me too.
slick, shaved, bald right there.
Yeah.
And tell me you don't see no resemblance
I get
whatsoever
it.
between
By the way,
him
Russ,
and fucking
I'm
Matt
yeah.
Lucas.
Not
way
necessarily
fatter
this
there than
picture, but
you're talking about you being. First off, you're not fat, but secondly,
Well, dude,
if you are fat, that you ain't touching that motherfucker right there. Look at the jowls on that
Dude.
son of a bitch.
dude, I'll tell you,
Look how hard them ribs
I walked
hit.
around at
So
275 for quite a bit, which is probably like 30 to 40 pounds more than
That's me at
myself right now.
238 because that's the biggest I've ever been. But my 238, I was not carrying it well right there. I think I was like 22 right there.
But we also always used to tell Cho that he should dress up as Varys for Halloween from the Master of Spiders and Whispers from Game of Thrones, stuff like that.
I'm a cherubic, round, pinkish,
bald.
fucking bald, don't hit, stink.
Yeah.
All that, farted.
I thought I accepted the other one.
Shoo-wee, we've gotten into
off the rails.
weeds.
Hey, you know, whatever.
But so anyway, so when you think about the little treats, the little tea sandwiches, the little pastries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are afternoon tea.
Okay.
Which is served in the mid-afternoon.
Like when they say that, it's like 3, 4.
It doesn't say, but I guess.
But that's what mid-afternoon is 3 to 4, right?
I would say, 2 to 4.
Because if it's 1, it's afternoon.
Yeah. So, all right. A high tea, however, includes much more substantive fare, such as meat, fish, egg dishes, as well as breads and desserts. So this is just like dinner.
Them little sandwiches, them little tea sandwiches.
I covered those. Those are afternoon tea.
Oh, right, yeah.
Tea sandwiches is afternoon tea.
Yeah, okay.
High tea is bigger shit.
You're right.
And then it says it's a light supper served with tea. But I'm like, if you having meat and fish and bread and desserts and shit,
That's
that ain't
dinner.
That's
Goddamn.
dinner. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel about it. Afternoon tea, also known as low tea, is most often taken at a low table. Of course, it can also be served at a high table.
It's wild to me that these seem more like food events that you would just have tea with, but they're based around the tea.
I agree, yeah. So, but the thing is, I found in looking at it, you know, they love their tea over there. They do get fancy with it. You get all these fancy little accoutrements, you know, and you put it on your fancy dishes and break out the fine chiny, as it were.
Oh, by the way.
But
there it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
God damn it.
So, the jowls. So, I was high one night laying in bed, and that came up on like a old Facebook thing or something. And I swear to God, I cried laughing for like 5 solid minutes. And Katie was like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was just like, "Look at Corey's face."
My friend's face.
And she looked at it, she was like, "Yeah, that's Corey from a few years ago." And I was like, "Look at him."
And she didn't think it was as funny?
She didn't think it was funny at all. She was like,
makes me love Katie.
Yeah, she was like, "Why?" And I was just like, "How do you not see how funny this is?"
Because she's not a cunt like you are. That's why.
So anyway, but looking into stuff, whatever, turns out, sure, they get fancy. They got their fancy dishes, do all their fancy shit. You know who's the fanciest people? Well, I didn't check every other country, but who really, really, really gets fancy with tea?
India.
No, they might, but that's not.
Hold on. No, it ain't Australia.
No, they don't get fancy with nothing.
I
can't open it. Okay,
is it a country that? Oh, Scottish.
Mm-mm.
Okay, because you just went into a little Scottish thing.
I just do that.
Yeah, no, I know, but I didn't know if it was a tale. Fuck, I don't know.
Look at that picture. What's that tell you?
That looks like drugs. Like that looks like they're like a.
What country would that shit be from?
I mean, Norway?
No.
Scotland?
Japan.
Oh, right, because it was bamboo. Yeah, that makes sense.
Japanese tea.
That's matcha. Is that matcha?
Yeah. Or powdered green tea.
I love that shit.
Is matcha green tea? Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
I didn't even
Which
know
I
that.
fucking love. To me, that's matcha. It kind of tastes like green beans, which I really like.
So, first of all, before any of this even starts, they have to pick a theme for the tea ceremony, apparently. Things such as appreciation for a sunrise.
Okay.
Or the seasons changing. Then they have to, based on the theme, they have to pull out a calligraphy scroll.
Yeah.
And paint. You know how they be. You picture them Japanese paintings.
Yeah.
With flowers and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
It's like watercolor-y looking.
Yeah, with like a hibiscus and some fucking like. Yeah. Weird.
Swords or something.
Yeah.
Probably not swords. I just think of swords when I think of them.
I do too.
They're big sword people.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, they got to make one of those, right? They got to clean their garden up. Guess you got to have a garden because the ceremony starts with the guests. Oh, also you invite your guests. You designate a head guest.
Oh,
so it's
like the guest of honor,
primary guest. Yeah, the head guest. The head guest is the one with whom the host communicates throughout the ceremony. The other people are just present mostly.
Is it because it's their birthday or something?
And also everything starts with the head guest gets presented with the tea with each course first and stuff like that. When the guests arrive, they walk through the garden first, and that's supposed to be on your way through the garden. You're supposed to be like releasing your stresses and worries and whatever,
your
and putting all that
grievances all
behind
go
you
away,
as you walk into the tea room.
A lot of like stringy music playing. Like,
Yeah, you know that stringy music playing. You hear a cat growl from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell
you know
yeah.
what I'm talking about. They do that.
They do.
That stringy thing, yeah, that you're talking about. And then a cat growls. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's Japan.
Yeah, that is Japan.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, the host will often have an assistant helping them with all this.
Like a tea sous chef.
Most tea rooms, traditionally.
This is intense.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Most tea rooms traditionally have a smaller door because then guests...
Because they're tiny people.
Because guests are forced to bow to enter,
right.
which signifies that within the tea room, all are equal. Because you all have to bow to each other.
That is not British at all.
So... in the tea room, the floor is covered with tatami, which are special woven mats, and each guest is wearing a kimono. They sit or kneel on the tatami, and the first thing they do is observe the host perform a charcoal ceremony.
Is a kimono just like a synonym for robe over there, or does
Japanese robe?
Right. Okay. I didn't know if it had to be made of a certain fiber to be considered.
I think most of them are silk.
Silk, yeah. They're comfortable as shit.
Yeah.
Check this out. Look at this picture. Geisha receive a samurai for tea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I can't.
Those dudes are intense.
Dude, you have no idea.
No idea. Can we talk about them one day? They're fancy.
Yeah, dude. So you ever heard of the book Shogun?
Yeah.
Very famous.
I've heard of it. I don't know shit about it.
It's a very famous historical novel about a Englishman who like crashes in Japan and ends up fucking with the samurai and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was apparently pretty historically accurate for how samurai were and stuff. They were I'm going to stop saying and stuff for fuck's sake. They were wild, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy wild. Dishonor, that did not go. Dishonor did not go. That's why they stabbed themselves. But they had.
Did you know that the fax machine and samurais both existed at the same time?
Yeah, that's wild. So yeah, first thing's a charcoal ceremony, and that's a special way of building the coals to heat the water to make the tea. Right. If there's going to be a formal meal of several courses, that's called a chaji, and that lasts 3 to 4 hours.
Hell yeah.
Or there's a chakai, on the other hand, which is just the tea. But whether there's a meal or not, guests are served small sweets, which prepare their palate for the tea. Then the host makes the tea, which is always done with very precise, choreographed movements. The first thing they do is they make a thick tea.
Ooh, like syrupy?
By adding a little bit of water to several scoops of powdered green tea and whisking the ingredients together. The result is almost paste-like.
Hell yeah.
That's passed around.
I'm for that shit.
That's passed around. People try it. Then they do the thin tea and do that. They little talking other than the discussion of the instruments of the tea ceremony takes place. Instead, both host and guest use the ceremony as a time to live fully in the moment, meditating on these ritualized actions and appreciating the aesthetics of the room and the ceremony and its implements.
So with the thick tea, it's like a pudding, like they're having to like
kind of
like slurp on it and stuff. I think I'm for that. I've had tea ice cream.
Gruel?
Yeah, tea gruel.
Yeah.
You know what's a thing that like you just brought it up here that we don't do in America that really bums me out that a lot of countries do is these long ass meals. Like they do it there in Italy, they do that in like Spain. It's like
we go through a drive-through and then house it in the parking lot.
We're way fatter, but we eat real quick.
Yeah.
Whereas over there, like from what I hear, it's like when you go to Europe and stuff like that, you're not like bar hopping. You go to one place and you sit there for like 4 hours and just consume fucking meal after meal after meal. And that's like your whole fucking thing. But yeah, like over here, it's just like we get the same amount of goddamn calories. We just like wolf it down.
Yeah. Yeah, it is wild. But so tea, every Southerner has the same experience, I think. I literally did not know that tea was ever drunk hot.
I know.
Until, as a kid, I've known for a long time now, but like my whole life growing up, I had no idea. Before that, it was a shock to find out that tea was ever served not sweet.
Right.
Like,
Matter of fact, that's an affront to a lot of people.
People would be like, like you had to specify unsweetened tea, which almost never happened. If you just ordered a glass of tea or something in a restaurant or whatever, it was going to be sweet tea
and iced
in the South growing up. And I didn't know that was wild to other people or anything ever. And fucking sweet tea super hits for me.
Fucking one of the best things in the whole world.
You always order unsweet tea, but you only order it because you put
a calorie
fake
thing.
sugar in it.
Because for me,
you
it's
don't
a
ever
calorie
actually
thing.
drink the unsweet tea, right?
No.
Do other people drink
old
unsweet?
people?
Yeah, I've seen some people just get unsweet tea that they just want it iced.
I've always been. That's one of those. I'm just my trash redneck ass. I've always just been like, they're fucking with me or something.
Right.
Like nobody's drinking that.
They do.
But I guess like
up north,
to think that a lot of people do what you do and sweeten it themselves. That's
because
fine.
to me
different.
it's just a calorie
That's
thing.
different.
Yeah.
But the idea of drinking the unsweet tea without doing nothing,
It's just
to
drink
it,
water. That's how I feel about it. But those people really do just like the way tea tastes.
No, that ain't it.
They're like when most people like get an Arnold Palmer, it's not sweet tea and lemonade. It's just tea.
It's the lemonade has 700 grams of sugar in it. So
Right.
you don't need the sweet tea.
At this stage of my life, I can roll with that. Like
I never drink sweet tea
The amount
anymore.
of sugar that's
drink
in
diet
the
tea.
amount of sugar that's in lemonade, that's enough to make an Arnold Palmer taste good to me.
Of course, yeah.
But Russ, what was sweet tea like for you? Like,
I mean, what do you call it? Snapple, Nestea.
Like
just
right.
the bottles of whatever. Like that
Right.
was me. Like that soda, soft drinks. Until a few years ago, like I said, I walked around at 275 a lot of times, probably mainly because I drank soda and Gatorade and ate Hostess cupcakes at 2 a.m. and didn't even look at the label and see that there was, like I said, like we talked about before, I think on the podcast, like a soda has like 77 grams of sugar.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
oh yeah.
Sodas
and
are
like,
fucking
and there's no
ridiculous.
telling,
Like triple
and there's
what
no telling
anyone should have.
what my granny's sweet tea was, and like that's the thing.
Dude.
When we were kids, like
Crazy.
I didn't even. You would have never considered your weight related to what you drank. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, I know you did, like the fucking Sunny D and
The
shit
Sunny
like
D,
that. But like, when I gave up sweet tea, I didn't realize, like, you just never considered it. You're like, yeah, no, I'm eating pretty good, but like, I'm drinking fucking a gallon of sweet tea a day.
I don't think, have I mentioned Sunny D on this show before?
Maybe. It all blurs together
Right.
at this point.
I was a fat kid growing up, and in high school, I tried.
We were all fat kids, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, actually, he
I was
wasn't.
I was
a fat
okay.
kid.
You were,
Yeah, I was
a
okay.
slim guy.
He just
Okay.
became a fat
I
adult.
became,
actually-
yeah. As soon as I started drinking, I became fat. I was a pretty, I was a decently athletic, little moving around kid. Yeah.
So I was a fat
I was
kid.
an athletic fat kid.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
athletic
which is-
for
yeah.
a fat kid.
Yeah,
I was a fat kid, and when I was in like high school, I was like, I need to do something about this. So I started like watching what I eat, and I mostly was just eating way less generally, and I was like pretty much starving myself, really, and I still wasn't losing that much weight. And I remember one day I came home and did the same thing I was going to always do. And I know how stupid this sounds, but I was fucking white trash child. I came home and did the same thing I always do, which is grab the jug of Sunny D out of there and just start to house the whole fucking thing pretty much.
Yeah.
So
And I
great.
swear to God, I did it. Tasted so good. I set it back in the refrigerator, and something in my brain was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the bottle and I looked at it.
Yeah.
And I swear, like a light bulb, an epiphany, I was like, holy shit.
That's
There's
what it is.
calories in Sunny D.
Yeah.
I'm
Lot.
getting fat on drinks.
Also,
Yeah.
again,
And then I quit drinking soda, and I don't
It's
drink them to
mostly-
this day.
it's
and I
mostly
lost
fat
weight.
on drinks.
I know.
Like-
I quit drinking soda and all the sugary stuff, and started drinking just water, and I lost a shitload of weight for the
because
first
you
time in
don't
my
get
life.
full on drinks.
Right, you can just go
Like,
and go and go.
Like, yeah, like, you know, like, in order, like, when you see these people on, like, My 800-Pound Life or whatever, like,
Oh.
I guarantee you, and I remember watched the show because,
Oh my God.
But the common
Yeah.
denominator is a lot of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Dude.
you physically can't fit enough shit in your body.
We used to watch The Biggest Loser because Kay was a personal trainer and she loved shit like that. And there would be people on there all the time. Not exaggeration at all. They would be like, when they went to bed, they would put a 2-liter of Mountain Dew or Pepsi or whatever
Yeah.
their drink of choice was and drink it through
Oh.
the night.
Yeah.
Like by the time they woke up in the morning, the whole 2-liter is gone. Because I keep a glass of water
mean,
by the bed.
Yeah, no, me too.
But they just
With
wake
some
up.
squirt in it.
wake
I
up
wish
and
I
chug.
could. I wish I could scoff more at that.
Scoff.
scoff more
Yeah.
at that, but I just I'm not saying I ever did that specifically, but I drank a lot of soda.
Yeah, no, we all did.
Yeah.
I fucking love soda
but
when I was a
not
kid.
Sunny D. Was never a Sunny D guy. Just regular orange juice, probably brand, not brand name.
Which,
like
for the
Stop
record,
and Shop or Big Y. Shout out Stop and Shop, Big Y.
We had that
sponsors
government
in the
orange
Northeast.
juice.
for the
Had
record,
Donald Duck on the can.
for the record, regular ass orange juice will do it to you too,
Yep,
and
yep,
apple
yep,
juice,
yep.
like
Lot of
and
sugar
you're
in
convinced,
those.
dude.
Lot of sugar in
Fruit
those.
is sugar. It's
Yeah,
better
but-
to have that than to have a fucking candy bar. But
Well, but the thing is, and I believe, again, I'm not going to Google this. Fact check me. Putting on airs at gmail.com.
send it.
But the reason is because when you're eating fruit, you're not going to eat 20
Of
oranges.
course not. And there's at least fiber in it.
I've come
And all the
close.
I've
sugar,
definitely
yeah.
I've 100% eaten 20 cuties in a day. Easy.
Juice is a different story, but I've seen like fitness people say before, they're like, dude, nobody gets fat eating apples. Like you know what I
Right.
mean?
Because you
Like,
won't eat that
yeah.
many.
like
Well, that's an extreme case. If you're on an extreme diet because you're severely overweight,
Yeah.
then it might benefit you to like kickstart the program by like not eating a bunch of fruit right away.
yeah,
like,
you got to
and
low
again,
carb it for a while.
I don't know anything about health, but I'm just saying like. But anyways, you're not supposed to just drink.
so
you
all
don't have
the
to know a
juice.
lot about
We,
health to know
fruit.
that you can't just drink Sunny D.
well, we need. I don't have. We need to get
Well,
into
Sunny D is
Professor.
not fruit. Is there even fruit
No,
in
dude,
Sunny
no,
D?
no, it's
Hell
orange drink.
no,
That's
it's
what it
orange
is.
drink.
Orange drink.
Yeah.
And drink hits.
So hard. I love
But we
drink.
need to get into Professor Cho time wise for sure. And I don't have much else to say about tea. I thought that Japanese shit was wild.
That
as
is
it often
wild.
is.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Wait.
I think with Southern tea, it's like, what's the story there? It's just like we were
Everybody
like,
knows it hits for us.
it hits, and we were like, cold drink hits. The
Cold
South
drink
is
hits.
hot as fuck, so you're not
Yeah.
going to drink a hot drink.
Hell no.
Sugar hits, ice
Sugar
hits,
hits.
tea hits. Let's fucking merge them together.
And it made a hit.
Yeah, and I drink both now. I drink hot tea and cold tea. But
All right. So we'll be right back with History Professor Cho on the subject of Quasimodo. No.
Quasimodo,
Not him,
the Cathedral of Notre-Dame.
Notre-Dame. All right. Right after this.
Y'all, I'm here to talk to you about CBD, and Feels is a better way to feel better. Their premium CBD will keep your head clear and help you feel your best. CBD has been proven to greatly reduce anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness, which is exactly what I've been using it for years. Navigating the world of CBD can be complicated though, and Feels, they make it easy. They make the process so simple, you can start feeling better sooner. Are you new to CBD? Well, Feels offers a free CBD hotline to help guide you through the discovery process, okay? Feels is premium CBD delivered directly to your doorstep. It feels natural and helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain. All you gotta do is place a few drops of Feels under your tongue and feel the difference within minutes. I'm about to do it right now after I do this ad because I'm gonna go to bed. Guys, I've been using CBD for years. At first I thought, oh no, is it gonna make me like, buzzed up or whatever? No, that's not how that works. It is just a super calming, relaxing effect, and I couldn't be happier about it, and I appreciate Feels hooking us up. You're gonna love it. Try it. Here's the deal. Become a member today. All you got to do is go to feels.com/POA, and that's FEALS.com/POA, and you're going to get 50% off your first order with free shipping. 50% off. You can't afford not to do it. That's FEALS.com/POA to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. Feals.com/POA. So this is your boy Corey talking, and if you follow me on social media, you know that I've lost 50 pounds in the past couple years, and I am getting super ripped. Actually, that's not true, but I do look better, and I've been taking my health into consideration more, and our next partner has a product that I literally use every day. I started taking Athletic Greens because sometimes I need a little help getting the nutrients and stuff when I'm on the go doing shows. I don't always have time to pop off for a, healthy smoothie or whatever, and Athletic Greens helps me supplement all that, and also this stuff taste great. I got a buddy, my buddy Robbie, who some of y'all may know. He takes this because he just doesn't like vegetables, period. Now, I don't have that problem. I love vegetables, but still, Athletic Greens helps me out when I'm on the go. I take it with me when I'm on the road. So what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, and seriously, it's great, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. That's fancy. To help you start your day right, this special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It just all the stuff. Okay? Like I said, I take it in the morning before I work out. Sometimes I'll have it at night. They've got all sorts of different ways. I do the I get the big bowl stuff of powder, and that really hits for me. Athletic Greens is a climate neutral certified company, which is cool. In 2020, Athletic Greens purchased carbon credits that support projects protecting old growth rainforests. And by the way, for every purchase, they donate to organizations helping to get nutritious food to kids in need, including No Kid Hungry here in the USA. In 2020, they donated over 1.2 million meals to kids, and that's super dear to my heart, because nutrition in schools and stuff like that is kind of ridiculous. My wife is a teacher, so right now it is time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the summer when we're all trying to be healthy. And we're all getting back out there into the world. You just take one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health, okay? So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply. What is going on here? Of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/POA. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/POA to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And we thank them for sponsoring the podcast.
Are you feeling stuck making minimum payments on your credit card debt? SaveWithConrad.com can help, and you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Oh, and did I mention no house payments for 2 months? Get rid of your credit card debt and lower your monthly payments right now at SaveWithConrad.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for History with Professor Cho on the subject of Notre-Dame.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a church that burned up. They got Quasimodo in there. Go. That's it. That's
there you
all
go.
I know. I don't even know.
It's old as fuck.
Okay.
Like, we were talking about
That makes sense.
Napoleon on the last episode. Napoleon, like you would think, oh yeah, Napoleon and Notre Dame, they probably were around the same time. And I mean, it was there when Napoleon was there, obviously, but the laying of the first stone was 1163.
Yeah.
I did not know it was that old.
Back in the Dizzy.
It is, and like, we as Americans, like, it's so hard to read stuff like that because we don't have a concept of
Absolutely
something
not.
being that old.
No.
If something around here was made in 1163, it's a fucking arrowhead.
For
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking it. But the laying of the first stone was 1163 during the reign of Louis VII. In 1160, the Bishop of Paris, Maurice de Sully, decided to erect a majestic cathedral in honor of the Virgin Mary in place of the cathedral Saint Etienne in
At the 10. Saint at the 10.
I'm like Andy Kaufman right now.
At the 10. Oh, at the 10. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's a decent Andy Kaufman,
It
right?
is, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's a decent, what was that? Latka.
Yeah. Then we're going into 1239, while Notre Dame is not yet finished by this date. So, like, we're talking, this is fucking 70 years, and it's still not done because a thing like that,
Of course.
it takes a fucking while. While Notre Dame, it's not finished by this date. It's already welcomed as a sacred place by St. Louis. Christ crown of thorns, I guess, is presented there. I don't know if they know that that's actually fucking. Do they have fucking
Them thorns still holding up.
Jesus Christ, you wouldn't think so. I don't know if they did like that.
That is saying that the crown of thorns that were on Jesus Christ is currently in Notre-Dame, or they had it then?
At 1239, they're saying they have that.
That was some bullshit.
I agree, that's some bullshit.
In 12, buddy.
No, I know.
They used to have witches and shit back then.
I agree.
They just pointed at stuff and said things.
Well,
that's what they did.
First off,
also,
of course it was bullshit.
Yeah, right,
you know what I'm saying? So in 1272, after more than 100 years of work, the cathedral is finally what they determined as finished. There was still obviously some stuff that they've done in recent years, but that's when they're like, okay, now, this is that. So like more than... Sorry, I was about to throw up.
All right.
More than 100 years, it gave, and this gave birth to a common French expression, which is to wait 107 years. I guess is a thing they say, like it's in order, like Rome. That's their Rome wasn't built in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how does the actual saying go?
I don't know. I don't have that. Russ, Google to wait
I got
to
it
wait
right
107.
175 years to bathe.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's a French saying that means that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's how I'm reading this kind of, and it has to be what that is. In 1789, I'm almost about to throw up. I don't know
what's going on.
I don't know.
We talk about how you be choking and stuff. You're just going.
Yeah, I don't.
You're just in the middle of this. You're just going to projectile vomit all over the place for no reason.
Yeah. So
you kind of sounded French though when you were like, yeah.
1804. We talked about this on last episode of the podcast. That's the coronation of Napoleon, right? So Notre Dame returned to the Catholic worship. Between Mass and coronation, the ceremony lasted more than 5 hours and is immortalized in one of the most famous paintings in the Louvre.
The Louvre.
As you say, the Louvre.
Isn't that how you say it?
Yeah, the Louvre.
Yeah, I mean,
I've always said the Louvre, but I just assumed it was more like the Louvre. The Louvre. And it's called.
Say this right here. Say this. This saying.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Oh, shit. Rome wasn't built in a day. Originated in France in medieval times. The collection of Les Proverbs et la Villain, circa 1190, was the first publication to mention the proverb. It read as Rome ne fusse pas fatit tetut in jour. And it didn't make a leap into English proverb until I didn't know that shit at all. So, like, and by the way, that's
1953.
But you know what's kind of crazy is that right there doesn't have anything to do with what the fuck I just said.
No, but that's wild.
That's still
it's French.
In French.
Yeah, and from the same time period in France, too. So why did they even need this saying when they made up that saying at the same time in the same place?
That's kind of fucked up. Like, I didn't...
That's a really odd coincidence, for sure.
A real parallel thought shit going on. Wow, damn. Thank you, Producer Russ.
Good pull.
Educational podcast.
That's right.
So there was a couple things that, like, apparently... the coronation of Napoleon Bonaparte, actually, it helped the church out a lot because apparently there was like a shit ton of decay and stuff going on and nobody's really doing anything about it, nor were they going to do anything about it. And then Napoleon Bonaparte was like, I want to be coronated here. And they were like, okay. And then they kind of like all went through and they were like, ugh, fuck, mold, stuff, blah. So they like kind of...
Crap. Hunchback.
Get him the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's funny.
This place is lousy with hunchbacks.
It's funny. It's so
just a bunch of fucking bats and fucked up people in here.
It's actually funny that you say that because one of the second reasons that it ended up getting fixed up so much, they had the coronation and then some other bullshit happened. They weren't able to get all the structural stuff. But when Victor Hugo, who is the person who wrote The Hunchback of Notre-Dame, following the Revolution, the Horrors of Time, the
Horrors of Time?
The Horrors of Time. That's a podcast coming to the Horrors.
Okay, all right.
Horror, just there's a bunch of horrors in there, and over time, you know how that goes. No.
I mean, it could go either way for sure.
But because of the French Revolution, there was like, you know how we still do to this day, when there's revolutions and there's like some opulence and stuff, people start tearing that shit down. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
You're like, fuck that. So that kind of happened in the French Revolution.
That's fancy. We're poor. Get it out of here.
Yeah, they threw shit at it. They graffitied that shit. They just kind of, set about fucking chaos on there, and again, people were just like, yeah, what are you gonna do? We don't just have the money to fix all that. But then Victor Hugo, who is the person who wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame, he saw the temple or the cathedral as a metaphor for France, in terms of, from when you look at it and the way you think of it is, it's this beautiful, opulent, fancy thing. But when you really get in it, it's decayed and shit's not working right, and it needs a lot of goddamn work, you know? He saw that and was like, man, this place kind of is what this country is. And so he decided to write The Hunchback of Notre Dame as a metaphor for that. And when he did that, it brought about a lot of interest in Notre Dame, and because of that, there was like tourist stuff happening, and they were like, oh damn, we can actually start, you know, fixing this shit up. And there was a lot of like donations, but like, oh, we got to get this place back to its like, you know, pre-hunchback fucking, you know, ways. So that was in 1831. My point is, Victor Hugo and Napoleon Bonaparte are sort of both the reason that it hits, because it was probably
it's just the old ass rundown church before they came through.
It was probably about to go the way of like the ruins, you know what I mean? Like it was just going to kind of be there. And then they're like, oh, this is it. So
came in, cleaned out all the skulls and bat poop and stuff.
In 1844, a huge renovation and restoration project was launched under the direction of Eugène Vallée-de-Loup.
Mm-hmm.
The passionate architect, he gives all the former majesty back to Notre Dame. He puts and this is another thing too. This is 1844. 1844 is when they first get their gargoyles. The gargoyles were not like medieval shit as you would think. The gargoyles are actually like way more modern.
Recent,
yeah. They're like the gargoyles are like, especially in the like, we don't think of 1844 as modern, but when you look at the history of this thing, like it's definitely modern.
You got more info on them gargoyles?
No.
Why in 1844 where they were like, you know what hits some like motherfucking bat people monsters up here?
Russ, look up gargoyles. Yeah, I kind of want to. Okay, let's see. That's a video. Like that. Is there any facts?
Well, there's a cool picture.
Because, like, yeah, it
you know
doesn't.
This church needs some demons.
Some demons, right?
Need some
and
demons
I know
on
I'll
this
scan
church.
this and I'll tell you if there's any.
I know that gargoyles are like supposed to be like protectors or something like that.
I'll tell you something dumb about me.
Okay.
Notre-Dame, that ain't the place. This is in Paris. That's just the name of the church.
Oh my God! Did you just have a mummy moment?
Wait,
Trae
what do
Crowder?
you mean?
There's two Notre Dames. There's Notre Dame the school.
No. I know this place ain't in fucking
Say what
Indiana.
You're,
okay,
say
all
what
right.
you're saying again.
Oh, thank God! Yeah.
Notre Dame, I thought. I mean, I didn't think it was its whole own big city.
Oh, I'm with you.
Oh.
I definitely thought it was the Cathedral of Notre Dame.
Which was someplace in France
Yes,
somewhere.
no,
Of course, I don't know that.
But it's in Paris.
I definitely probably thought that shit too,
Yeah.
but didn't think to like
Okay.
bring it. But like, no, yeah.
but it's in Paris.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
Okay.
in Paris.
I was
Yeah, I
too
didn't
dumb.
realize that.
I was too
No, I
dumb
didn't
to
either.
even understand your not understanding.
Which
That's how
is
stupid I
kind
am.
of stupid because, and I haven't seen it in a while, but like I definitely watched the movie as a kid, and like, yeah, they were all for like it was a Parisian type fucking thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Any goddamn way. In 1944, since the retaking of Paris followed the 100 Years' War in 1437, Parisians have been celebrating their military victories in the square in front of the cathedral. So in the 15th century, in 1918, a Te Deum, the hymnal of feasts and victories, was sung there in honor of the armistice, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
So
the
on-
end of World War One.
Yeah. So on Armistice, right? Armistice Day. You fucking idiot. So on August 26, 1944, a Magnificat was performed below the gargoyles and the flying buttresses to celebrate the liberation from the Nazi occupation. Another thing that happens in 1991, like other Parisian buildings on the banks of the Seine, S-E.
Now that one, I know the river you're talking about. Is it? Yeah, Seine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This
Definitely should know, and I don't know.
This is the first time that it was ever it was like Seine. We'll say Seine.
Seine.
That
sounds kind of Frenchy.
This is when UNESCO, UNESCO, World Heritage Site.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna fucking puke. Actually, deems this officially an architectural masterpiece. That only happened in 1991, which is kind of crazy to me.
Well, were we even doing that before then?
I guess maybe not.
Like, you know, these motherfuckers, they came along at some point and they're like, we're going to be the ones that say what hits around the whole world.
Right.
And everybody was just like, well, they're the ones that say what hits around the whole world. And so they then started making a list. And in 1991, they added this to the list. Do you know what I'm saying? They didn't, other than having like.
Everything was a masterpiece, I guess.
But they didn't we didn't have organizations that like kept lists of masterpieces.
Right.
Or that designated things as masterpieces until relatively recently, I think.
And then this is. Okay, why did Notre Dame have gargoyles? The gargoyles' main purpose is very practical. As water, they're like gutters. As rain water runs down the roofs of Notre-Dame de Paris, it needs to drain off without dripping down the walls and potentially damaging them by evacuating rainwater. The gargoyles protect the cathedral, and so they're gutters.
Oh, cool.
They're gutters.
But they are
that
protecting.
doesn't explain why they demons, though.
That
was my main question.
Gutters.
Why are they demons?
I don't
Look
know,
up
but
why are they
date-
demons.
I don't know. They date back to ancient Egypt.
Well, yeah, demons. Yeah, for sure. They had a lot of them running around. It's funny. I didn't know why I did this, and I didn't realize that I did it, but I stopped taking notes at this point. And so I forgot to include the shit about that it burned down.
Wait a minute.
So, producer,
Hell, everybody knows that.
I just almost called you Gargoyle Russ.
Wait, the school burned down.
Yeah, I wish. But no, it did burn down. But that was like in 2017 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
I don't know, but recently.
Yeah,
recently.
and like I remember that being a goddamn. Here's what was funny to me, and maybe you had the same experience. It was obviously very different over there because I remember when I heard that Notre Dame was burning down, I was just like, who gives a fuck? You know what? Like, I hope nobody's in it. You know what I'm saying? But then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh wow, that is like a.
I don't know. I knew
that's like a. But also, can I tell you this? I didn't really know that like a place like that could like burn down. Like it's all stone.
Also, where was the Lord at?
Hey, right. What were the gargoyles doing?
So look, did you see? It says some think. I'm going to dispute this. Some think that the gargoyles' angry faces were intended to scare away evil spirits. As though demons are going to be strolling through and be like,
oh shit, a demon.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go in there.
You think there's demons?
Hell yeah,
It's a club. Yeah, it's a club.
What's up, dog?
That's
where we get in here.
That is hilarious.
Demons in the place to be.
Yeah.
Like, that don't make no sense.
That reminds me of that.
That's like demons
Fire
are going
with
to be
fire.
like, I think this is a demon place.
That reminds me of that Jim
We're
Jeffries.
demons. We should go in there.
That reminds me of that Jim Jeffries bit when he was talking about, he's like, the more I learn about the devil and all them, I'll think to myself, like, why wouldn't all hit for the devil?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you, his boys. You know what I mean? Like
He's
he would
gonna
love.
fucking
He's
love
gonna
you.
fucking dig you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would think it would be the same there, but it did burn down, and it was like a whole fucking big deal because wasn't it like what? I don't know none of this. Like when it burned down, they weren't doing enough to stop it from burning down or something, and it was a whole like why aren't they doing more to stop this? And everybody was just like, fuck it, we don't need to spend a lot of money saving that thing, like it's just a relic of the past. And
I remember like fundraising campaigns and stuff, but I thought they were just intended to help fix what had burned or something.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're wrong. You might be. It's like, oh, they weren't doing enough anti-burning down shit. You know?
Yeah. Where's
But,
that fucker with his fire brigade, like offering him a
Marcus
plea deal
Crassus,
or whatever?
Yeah.
So it burnt down, and that didn't hit. It was in 2019. You know why?
Yeah.
You know why I don't remember a lot about this? Because a lot of other shit was on fire in 2019, like the whole rest of the goddamn world. So like honestly, I thought it was before. Because like
did it burn down more than once, or did
no,
it have a fire?
it was
not burned down.
No,
but
it was
there
that,
like an old fire too.
Look up how the fuck it burned down. So yeah, 2019, we were
Well, it's really just,
preoccupied
as
with
far as I remember, it's just was in disrepair, and
a
that
fire
was the
broke
official
out
story, I think.
beneath the roof of the Notre-Dame de Paris Cathedral in Paris. By the time the structure fire was extinguished, the building's spire had collapsed. Most of its roof had been destroyed. You got to have a spire.
On a cathedral?
I've
I
been
was just about to
like-
say, you can't have a cathedral with no spire on
My
it,
dumb
dude.
ass is reading that going, damn, it got the spire?
The spire
Fuck.
is like the most cathedral-y part of a cathedral, I would
It
say.
burned for
Did the-
15 hours?
Did the
God.
hunchback start it?
I mean, maybe.
Quasimodo.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? By the way, did you know that Quasimodo is 20?
do you
In the
mean?
story, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I mean, I guess.
Hunchbacks don't
right?
age well.
No,
dude.
they
Quasimodo is a
That's like
20-year-old
60 years of regular back people.
But the thing is, it makes
regular back
it makes a lot of sense because like
That's
a hunchback
insensitive.
ain't gonna live much past 20. You know what I'm saying? Like
Plus,
if you
this
got
is a way back too.
if,
so,
right,
like,
if you got a
didn't live that
60,
long
if you
anyways.
wouldn't have a 65-year-old
Nah.
hunchback
You
and
don't have 65-year-old
1125.
regular back people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much what I know about the Cathedral of Notre Dame. And I think the ultimate thing we have to say is that there's pretty much two people who are responsible for it even getting to the point that it could burn down in 2019, and that is author Victor Hugo
And the Lord. Oh, Napoleon.
and Napoleon and the Lord. Yeah.
I thought
And them gargoyles protecting
I
everybody.
get what you are doing now.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of who was responsible
yeah.
for burning it
Oh,
down.
the Lord
which
definitely
was clearly
burned it,
the
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, for sure. But that's that. And I assume they got it together now, right? Like you can.
I don't know.
We're gonna go there. We're gonna end up going there. I'm
That'll
sure.
help.
We may have already gone there by the time this airs. Who fucking
Who's
knows?
to say?
Yeah.
But
So that's what I know, and I'm sorry that it wasn't more, and I'm stupid.
You hit Professor Cho. Thank you for another stirring rendition of History of Professor Cho. That's it for this episode of Putting On Airs. Tell everybody what to do there, Corey.
Please, if you wouldn't mind, be our Victor Hugo or our Napoleon Bonaparte and help us keep this shit going. Like, subscribe, download, tell all your friends, leave us a 5-star review, holler at us on Patreon, buy merch, and tell your mom and them we said, hey!
Make a hit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Putting On Airs, Putting On Airs, Putting On Airs, Putting On Airs.
Hey, everybody, and appreciate you for listening to this episode of Putting On Airs, where we talked about not the Hunchback in Notre Dame, just Notre Dame. You idiot. You're the one that literally did the show. Notre Dame, whatever. And I don't know. Like, we say Notre Dame for the football, but then when it's the cathedral, I want to say Notre Dame. I don't know. Whichever one it is, just tell me. And high tea. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will immediately notice that there's no video for this, and the reason is because I'm in a hotel and the lighting in here is so terrible that it's just pointless. You don't want to see that. It's depressing. And also, because you can't tell immediately, I am by myself. Trae is on the road right now doing shows in Ohio. If you're in the Ohio area, the whole state. He's in Columbus and maybe Toledo. I don't remember, but you can go to TraeCrowder.com and catch his shows. We got our wires crossed this week because I myself am in New York City doing some shows by myself. He's in Ohio by himself, and we could not make this work, what with being on planes and stuff. But we didn't want to not do anything. So this week we talked about, like I said, Notre Dame and high tea. I really want to go back and forth with Trae on this so much, but he's not here, so I can't. So I did want to inform y'all that since we did this episode, we have actually had high tea or whatever. We went to Fortnum and Mason I think it was it was in London, I'm pretty sure. I could be stupid and wrong. Our London listeners will be like, no, it's not. It's down the road in Liverpool. I don't know. But we went and we had an absolute blast, and it was kind of crazy. So, like, you go in and it's we weren't we were dressed fine. We both wore button-up shirts and stuff, and nobody in there was like wearing suits or anything, but it was definitely a lot of prim and proper, ladies and gents having their tea. And we paid for like the whole kit and caboodle package. So they come out and they're like, what do you guys want tea wise? And I'm just like, I like Earl Grey, so that, but if you got a different blend, I'll do that. Whatever you want, man. You're the guy, I trust you. And Trae was like, yeah, I'll just have whatever he's having. And that guy's like, oh, no, absolutely not. You've got to get something different. And he's like, okay, well, just, dealer's choice, do your thing. And then they bring us just this beautiful, like 4-tiered, trifle situation of on the bottom, there's sandwiches, which is the first time I ever had Coronation Chicken, which, if you don't know what Coronation Chicken is, and I'm probably about to butcher this, but what I heard, and this is me playing telephone, Coronation Chicken is like, it's basically chicken salad, but it's got like curry spices and stuff in it because, again, if I'm wrong on this, you can just send me an email at puttingonairs@gmail.com. But I think they call it Coronation because it was during Elizabeth II's coronation, and I think Philip had the idea that like you're going to be, the queen of inclusivity or what, which of course is bullshit PR, I'm certain on his part, but like you're going to be the queen for all the people, and so we're going to like bring parts of other cultures into it, and so they made like a chicken salad with like curry spices in it, and it's stuck and it's really good. And I had so many of them when I was over there, and I've actually since made it at my house. It's divine. If you've never had Coronation Chicken and you like regular chicken salad and you like Indian food and stuff, I highly suggest it. It's tremendous. So they bring us all these sandwiches. You got that, and you've got like a ham and mustard one, which was fire. And then they had like a cucumber one, which like in the South, when we have like a cucumber sandwich, it's more like it's cucumber and cream cheese spread, which actually kind of hits for me. And you put that on pimento cheese with some chicken salad, and you make like a triple decker sandwich. This was literally just slices of cucumber with what I think had some mint in it. I wasn't for it. I mean, I'm not against it, but it was pretty much like having salad, but the croutons was mushy. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really for that. And then on top of that, you have scones, or some pronounce it scones. And I was particularly excited about this because, over there, you get in the whole, like, what's a biscuit, what's a cookie? We say this one way, they say this the other way. And I just thought maybe they just don't have biscuits. But turns out all the scones or scones I've had in my life have all been like, glazed or fruity or whatever. But these were just like regular scones. And like, by my estimation, it's pretty much a biscuit. And I ain't going to say it's as good as my mama's, but it was tremendous. And they bring out the scones, and they bring out a bunch of jams. And instead, this was my favorite part, y'all. You normally think, okay, you get butter and jelly for your biscuits. Well, with scones, you get clotted cream, which we determined had to be like maybe right before it becomes butter, or like it's whipped cream and then they go like one more step above that. I don't know, but it is fantastic. It definitely, took the place of butter, and it was awesome. Then on top of that was all the pastries. And so me and Trae, we start eating, and the dude comes over there and he goes, by the way, just so you know, you can get as many of these as you want. This is unlimited. And we both were just like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, this is many, like you eat this one, we'll bring you another one. And we were just baffled because we're like, that's a very American thing. We didn't think over here they would do like all you can eat buffet type stuff. But when our dumbass American brains heard that, we were just like, okay, go to town. We tore through this platter in, I have to assume, record time for Fortnum and Mason, because we plow through it, and then like the dude had just like rounded the corner. He comes back and we're like, yeah, buddy, we'll take another one of them. And he's like, okay. So then, being the two fat, dumb Americans that we are, we housed that one, and we drank our tea, and we sat there, and I guess we'd been there for like, I don't know, maybe an hour or something like that. And we were like, okay, well, we're done. We're going to get up. And they hadn't come back for the check or anything, so I go and I flag the guy down, and I'm just like, hey buddy, can we just get the check? And he's like, what? And we're like, yeah, we know it was like prepaid for, but we thought we might have to sign for something. He's like, y'all are leaving us so soon? And I was like, is he confusing us with somebody else? And we were just like, yeah. And he was just like, oh, well, I mean, okay. And we mentioned it to a couple people from over there, and they're just like, yeah, I mean, you're supposed to kind of like hang out. The reason you get the unlimited sandwiches and stuff is because it's understood that you will like eat it slow, and then talk and hang out, and then you'll get another one and you'll slowly, but we just housed it all like we were at a goddamn Golden Corral because we're stupid, and that's just how that works. So yeah, again, like I said, since this episode, we've actually had high tea. I very, very, very much enjoyed it. We have some emails here, the airmail, as it were, and here's the thing. We have so many amazing emails that I feel bad reading them without Trae here because I want him to go back and forth. So what I'm going to do is next week we'll read some extra emails. We'll do a little extended version because I want him to hear these emails because I want him to see the adoration that he gets and also the criticism that I get. But I will read one email for you, and the reason I'm only reading one is because this one is, wow, it's a doozy. And this has been one of the only times, this is, for those of you that are about to guess, yes, this is about Anastasia. This is one of the only times in my life where I have been so heavily criticized, yet it not bother me. I'm a very sensitive person, and I can take constructive criticism, but I don't think most people like being criticized, but I'm super sensitive. But this has just been hilarious. And again, I've apologized several times. I know why I was stupid on the episode. I didn't know anything about it. I've apologized and all that, but this is just funny. And I got a dissertation here, and I want to read it to you. This is from Christina Weber. Christina, you are awesome. Okay, here goes Christina. Since you were still wondering what the big deal about Anastasia and the Romanovs was, I figured I'd follow up with and this is the funniest part of the email, by the way, a hopefully brief, this is like 18 paragraphs, hopefully brief or at least entertaining explanation. A lot of this is from memory, and it's been a while, so hopefully it's at least a little bit accurate. The weirdest thing about your show was the apparent assumption that the Romanovs didn't hit. Now, I would like to interject here. I don't remember saying that the Romanovs didn't hit, but if I did, I certainly apologize. Anyways, in terms of being fancy and having nice shit, yes, a lot of Russia was built out of snow, melancholy, and potatoes. However, as is the case with many countries on the verge of overthrowing their rulers, there was a great deal of wealth disparity, and the Romanovs themselves had all the latest and most fancy things it was possible to have. What got them executed was the communist revolution in Russia, spurred in no small part by both the overall rampant inequality and the truly spectacular decadence of the Romanov family. Seriously, there's a reason Elon and Bezos are building spaceships. It's because people start getting all pitchforky when you flaunt obscene wealth in the face of desperate peasants, and the Romanovs found that out the hard way. I could get into a lot of examples of how truly fancy these people were, but I think the best example is actually the extraordinarily fucked up way they died. Death by firing squad, and it took about 20 minutes to finish them all off. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, but I'll get to that in a minute. Sadly, the Romanovs themselves were reported to be pretty decent folk as far as billionaires go. They were more the oblivious kind, not really engaging in any direct oppression or even thinking much about it, but instead were amusing themselves finding new things to stick jewels to, which gave us those famous Fabergé eggs and gaudy shit like that. They weren't competent to do much more than throw fancy dinner parties and had little to do with running the country anymore, but unfortunately they also didn't really check up on how that was going. It was going badly. Russian Communist Revolution badly. I love the way you write, by the way. In addition to their showy lifestyle, scandal over the controversial figure of Rasputin helped push things to a head. He was supposed to be a man of God who indulged in every vice imaginable, paired with the oblivious and conspicuous consumption of the royal family. Together, they really went the extra mile to piss people off. Rasputin had manipulated his way into power in large part through the lady czar. Sorry, I'm not Googling how to spell the right word, so let's just call her the queen. Like most queens, her first job was to give the kingdom an heir, and she had kicked things off with 4 girls in a row. Not an auspicious start. She finally had a boy. One that had that blood disease a lot of royals had because Queen Victoria's herd of cousin-fucking royal offspring had married into just about every royal family in Europe. I think it's hemophilia. I could be wrong. So she got one boy in before the finish line, and damn near everything could kill him. He was constantly sick, and Rasputin was a con artist styled as a holy man and healer. Rasputin would pray for and heal the sickly heir and take credit for his narrow escapes from dying of shitty DNA. The Romanovs were getting conned, but an often deeply superstitious Russian population began to believe that Rasputin figuratively, if not literally, was an agent of the devil who was really in charge. The belief spread that the Romanovs not only weren't chosen by God to rule, but may be patsies of a demon or possibly in league with Satan himself. Plus, fuck the rich and all that. Anyway, so inequality, blah, 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 politics and all that stuff, and Rasputin gets killed, and it takes a terrifyingly long time and quantity of methods because he's on so much morphine and cocaine 24/7. There's revolts and little revolutions before the big one as the Romanovs lose total control over the country. They're on the way out, it's just a matter of sorting out the details. I think most people expected exile. The Romanovs certainly did. But this was the communist fucking revolution, and you don't get to retire from that shit. Knowing they were on the outs and expecting to have their property seized, they wanted to be able to conceal and carry as much of their wealth as possible when they fled or were thrown out. So they sewed enormous quantities of diamonds and other jewels into the many layers of their fancy clothing. Pretty sure I mentioned that. A lot of diamonds and a lot of clothing. Historians have remarked that it was surprising the younger girls could even walk with how much weight the gems and precious metals would have added to their clothes. Moving would have been difficult too, but ladies back then were wearing corsets and all kind of dumb shit anyways, so they passed for normal. So, you see where I'm going with this. They sewed layers and layers of jewels into their clothes, and then the real revolution got going, and they were sentenced to death in secret by the new regime. They were taken down to a basement of a palace, believing they were taking shelter for a coming attack, and would be fleeing as soon as possible. But when they got down there, a firing squad was brought in to execute them for their crimes against the comrades. The order was given, and the soldiers lined up in formation and opened fire. And then the Romanovs didn't die. Not right away. The reason I'm going to hell is because of how damn funny I find the resulting events. These, often deeply superstitious soldiers, were shooting all these women and children, and they weren't going down. In addition to all the diamonds, at least fragmenting many of the bullets, their many layers of clothes were soaking up the blood from where they were wounded. So not only were the bullets seemingly bouncing off of them, but they didn't even appear to bleed. That's so funny. The guards started freaking out. All that talk of Rasputin and the Romanovs making deals with the devil probably started feeling pretty real right about then. The soldiers kept shooting, but the Romanovs, especially the ladies with all those extra layers, just weren't dropping. I imagine some of the soldiers were probably soiling themselves and screaming some Russian equivalent of, "Demon bitches! Holy fucking demon bitches!" Anyways, 20 minutes, many bullets, and several bayonet stabs later, the family was finally all dead. The adults and teens were buried, and the two smallest, the heir and Anastasia, were burned at a nearby location. Years later, DNA would confirm the identities of all the bodies. The new the new Russian regime, as is their way, did not cop to the fact that they had executed the entire family and covered up the records of the events that took place for decades. They admitted to executing the Tsar, but had stories for where the rest of the family members were. So rumors of surviving royal family members escaping into hiding and one day possibly returning were everywhere. Eventually, the grave of the adults and teens was found and their remains identified. The two kids were not found until later investigation, so rumors of their survival continued, Anastasia being the more likely one to have escaped alive due to the heir's severe health issues. Years later, the kids' disposal site would be discovered and their DNA confirmed. But before that happened, you had many years of various con artists and mentally ill people claiming to be the lost royal Anastasia. And with the fall of Stalin and the installation of yet another new government, where there may even have been a hope of legally claiming some of the family riches seized in the revolution. As you can imagine, each imposter attempting to do this would cause a media media sensation, with tabloids and conspiracy theorists loving anyone who could fake even the slightest credibility. DNA testing eventually became a thing, but a lot of fun and drama was had in the meantime. There were lots of supposed lost Russian royals scattered all over Europe and the Americas for a while. I hope I kept my train of thought there. I think I did. Anyway, to clarify, it's not that we're offended you were more worried about telling a good story than being accurate. We're mad that you missed a damn good story. A royal family so fancy accidentally sewed themselves bulletproof vests out of fucking diamonds, not to mention summoning the rise of Stalin himself. Plus, full-grown soldiers losing their shit because these people were too rich to die. My God, man, you missed this kind of story and still have the nerve to call yourself a proud liberal commie? For shame. Sincerely, Christina. Christina, that was wonderful. Hey, like I said, y'all try to top that. PuttinOnAirs@gmail.com. Thank y'all so much for listening to this show and all the shows you've listened to in the past. We've been having so much fun with this. We can't wait to continue to bring you more. I'm actually about to fly out pretty soon to meet Trae so we can film some more of these. Suggestions for episodes is always welcome. And if you enjoy the show and think we deserve a 5-star rating, if you could please go rate it wherever you get your podcast. It takes you 2 seconds, but it really would help us. Of course, you know you can watch it at watchpoa.com and tell your friends. And we love you so much. And we'll talk to you later and see you next week. Stay fancy, y'all.